Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Doug with News and Views by Doug. And welcome you to the channel. This is where I talk about my opinions and observations of world events, politics, and pretty much anything else I feel like talking about. And of course, the topic for the last couple of months is always starting off with the Persian Gulf. So, President Trump has signed the Memorandum of Understanding for a peace deal with the state of Iran. And I don't know how good it is. I'm not an expert on diplomacy, but we should have wiped out the Iranian regime, the IRGC. I don't believe anything they have to say. I don't believe they're going to hold the peace deal. I think that they're still going to sponsor state terrorism with the Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. And they're still going to be launching attacks on Israel. Now, Israel has said that they don't agree to this peace deal because how can they? They can't trust the Iranians or any of these terrorists, and they're going to be attacked. They've been attacked even after the initial deal was agreed to on Sunday. They were attacked, and they're going to retaliate no matter what the United States say. But President Trump did come out and say that if any of our allies are attacked, we will defend them. So I guess that's one good thing. We brought it up that the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, has told President Trump that they have information that Iran is going to continue to try and build nuclear weapons, which was the whole reason we went to the war with Iran, was to stop them from building nukes. And supposedly they've collapsed the tunnels leading to their enriched uranium. They've put up minefields. They've done all kinds of things, booby traps, to stop any American charge into those tunnels to get the uranium out of there. And, they're still going to try to enrich the uranium. I don't believe a thing Iran says. And it never stops. But here's one good sign. The Iranians are rising up, and I believe that they are being supplied with weapons. Now, also, the Lebanese are tired of Hezbollah being in their country. And they're rising up, and they're demanding that Hezbollah leaves southern Lebanon and gives the land back to the Lebanese. And then it just came out in the last couple of days that the people in Gaza, the Gazans, are protesting against Hamas. Hamas is the political and military wing that's in Palestine, and they were never elected in. They basically have taken over and they kill anyone who goes against them. But thousands upon thousands of Gazans rose up in protest against Hamas, demanding that they leave. So, let's see where the civilians can take this. And, again, I always believe that if you want your freedom, you have to fight for it, not let others do it. Now, we know that over the weekend, we had those terrorist guys, the 5 that were arrested for trying to do a terrorist plot in Washington, D.C. during the UFC match for President Trump's birthday. And the plot was found out by the FBI because the mother of one of them became concerned, and she overheard some things, so she called the police, and the local police called the FBI, and they arrested 5 of them. Well, here's a picture of the ringleader. And guess what? He's an illegal. He's been in the country for years. He was at DACA, whatever the hell Obama started. He was a DACA member, and he was the main ringleader plotting to overthrow the United States and attack all these people that were in Washington, D.C. Illegal immigrant.
So now there's a manhunt still underway for additional suspects tied to that alleged White House UFC terror plot. This is happening as federal documents identify the accused ringleader as an illegal immigrant from Mexico. There's the mugshot. Here's David Spunt live in D.C. And David, hello.
Well, hello, Bill. 5 are behind bars. Authorities looking for more, given that they discovered a group chat with 23 people We have a picture of the people currently in custody facing those charges. Tyson Proper from Ohio, Brian Roa and Michael Thomas from California, Daniel Eskridge from Missouri, who appears before a judge for a detention hearing this morning, and as you mentioned, Abraham Alvarez from Nebraska, who overstayed his visa in 2001 and is from Mexico, but he is a recipient of DACA, and that's why he is in the United States. Now, investigators.
Now, it also came out that yesterday here in San Diego, 38-year-old Rita Mazin, let's see, what's his name? Rita Mazan Rita Sabazi. He was arrested here in San Diego because he was doing funding for Hamas. He claimed to be raising money, crowdfunding, for Iraq. No, I'm sorry, it's ICRAM, the Arab Charity Foundation. And he raised over $600,000. And turns out there really is no charity. The money was being funneled to the Hamas terrorist organization. Also, he embezzled some of his money that he received from people and paid off some of his credit cards. So the FBI went in, they found out about him, and they arrested him. And he's being charged with money laundering, wire fraud, raising money for a terrorist group, all kinds of things. So again, I keep telling you folks, if you see something, say something, because the terrorists are here living among us. And there's a lot more out there. It just blows me away that how many Americans have, taken the Kool-Aid and drank it. And we had 15 Antifa people arrested in Minnesota. These were the people that were participating in the protests and rioting against ICE. And sure enough, the 15 are arrested. They're taken to court. And what happened is their supporters, all the purple and blue-haired and green-haired septum ring, people, went and protested and started rioting at the courthouse and were fighting with the U.S. Marshals at the courthouse. And of course, social media says they were fighting the ICE. No, they were U.S. Marshals. And the Marshals had to deploy pepper spray and tear gas trying to keep these people out of the courtroom. So when's the madness going to stop? Now, I talked yesterday about Governor Gavin Newsom here in California, how he was claiming that he's under investigation, he and his wife, that Trump is targeting them.
Of work. I mean, if you can find me two demonic ghouls that are more demonized, rightfully so, and just ooze darkness and evilness, I'll be shocked if you can.
And that's all been debunked. The DOJ is looking into his wife's activities with her nonprofit and gathering all kinds of money. And, we talked about it yesterday, so if you want to get in depth, please look at the video I shot yesterday. But the one thing that came out was that Jerry Brown, who was the governor before Newsom, they have this thing called where companies want to donate money. And it's on behest of the governor, and he suggests where the money should go. And it's completely legal in California, but there are some guidelines. And Brown, from 2010 to 2018, collected $35.5 million. Don't know where the money went. But since 2011, Gavin Newsom, he's received $347 million. 347. Jerry Brown only got 35.5. But Newsom, he's quadrupled it. And a lot of these companies, he kind of suggests that the money go certain places in the state. And then suddenly they got no compete contracts with the state. It's a pay to play atmosphere. And Newsom even suggested that money go to his wife's nonprofit organizations. And that's what's leading to a lot of these investigations. But, I mean, I'm telling you, people, Newsom is new scum with a new scam. He and his wife, they're weasels. But I just can't imagine. Now, here's another weird thing. He was found guilty of ethics violations. And he's being fined, and I don't know if it's the feds or the state that are fining him, but he was found to have unethical issues during his campaign. So we'll see where that goes, if anywhere. Now, the one thing, and this is going to create a lot of hate, the wokeism in America is going away. People are sick and tired of seeing this crap forced down our throat, forced on us, our kids, our schools, everything. From my research, and basically Googled it, homosexuality is only 9.8% of the U.S. population. Less than 10% of the people out there can claim to be a homosexual. And yet, they're forcing their way of life down our throats. You've got June, Pride Month, a month to celebrate their sexuality. And all these companies and corporations, they wanted to be woke. And so they push their agendas. I mean, you look at a lot of TV commercials now, and you'll see gay couples. Almost every new TV show that comes out has gay couples or a gay character. And, this was just unheard of when I was growing up as a kid. But now we've got transgenders going into girls' restrooms, women's restrooms. They've got them going into schools, drag queens, and doing shows for little kids. They're pushing for little kids to learn about being transgender. And America is just finally saying no more. If I don't care who you want to sleep with. That's in the privacy of your home, your home or your motel room. That's up to you. But forcing your lifestyle down our throat when you're less than 10% of the country, this ABC mafia is just out of control. Well, it's been forced even into the professional sports leagues. And they are just pushing it. Well, some good news in a sense. Minor League Baseball, the York Revolution, which I believe is out of York, Pennsylvania, they forfeited a game against the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs because the players refused to wear the pride uniforms that were made for the game. They said, no, this is baseball. Sexuality has nothing to do with playing baseball. And they're not going to wear the pride colors. Good for them. They took the loss. Not a big deal. But all the ABC mafia types, they're angry. And then even in Major League Baseball, we have players that are Christians, and Major League Baseball was forcing them to wear pride uniforms with the rainbow colors. And a lot of players, they added some words to their baseball hats. And several of them in San Francisco put down Genesis chapter 9, verses 12 through 16, which talks about God's promise not to destroy the earth again with a flood. And it talks about rainbows, that they basically called it a bow in the sky. And that comes from Genesis. And it was God's pledge never to destroy the earth by flood again. So they wrote the word Genesis 9:12 through 16 on their hats. And Major League Baseball's pissed. One player in San Francisco refused to wear the hat. He wore his normal everyday hat. And, thank you to these players for not knuckling under. Sexuality has nothing to do in professional sports. Of course, unless you're a transgender player who couldn't be a good enough athlete as a male, so you decided to pretend to be a transgender and go into the women's leagues. Brittany. So anyways, that's my thoughts for the day. That's my update for the day. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But again, folks, when it comes to these terrorists that live among us, I keep telling you, keep your eyes open. If you see something, say something. Be careful out there. Take care of your family and friends. We live in a dangerous place now. So anyways, that's my thoughts. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment. Folks, you take care of yourselves. Be safe, please.